Welcome, everyone, and thanks for joining us. My name is Luis Rodriguez. I am the franchise sales director for UKW Franchising that owns and operates the Uni K Wax Studio franchise system. Today, I am just thrilled to have here a legend within the Uni K system. His name is Ronak Patel. Ronak is a franchisee in New York City for 3 Uni K Wax Studios, soon to be 4 Uni K Wax Studios. A little bit about Ronak. He first became interested in Uni K when he saw the brisk business done at the studio where his wife worked as a waxer. He secured his Brooklyn Heights franchise in 2013 and later added others in Midtown East and the East Village. Today, Ronak is gearing up for his 4th franchise. How does he do it? Well, Ronak hustles. He stays on top of things. He leverages the support he receives from Uni K Corporate. So I hope you join us for the entirety of today's session and ask questions when we're done. I'm going to ask some questions of Ronak in the meantime, and I'm very excited that everybody is here. Hold on. And there's people sending me links and requesting. Okay. People want to be here. Good. All right. So welcome, Ronak. Thank you for being here. We are thrilled to have you here today. How are you?
Good. How are you, Luis? Thank you.
I am wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate your being here, and I hope that more and more people join our call. We had a little bit of a hiccup, so I had to resend the link to it, but we're working fine now. So Ronak, gosh, what a pleasure to have you here. You currently own 3 studios in New York City, Midtown East, Brooklyn Heights, and the East Village. And you're looking to open a 4th location soon. So can you take us back to when you started looking at Uni K? What was your life and your work like back then?
Back then, it was about 2010. The first I was interested in Uni K. So there was only a couple of locations that time, Murray Hill. Both were corporate, so they were ready to give out the franchise.
Okay.
So I thought, let's grab the opportunity. We are the first one in city to become a franchisee. But I have to went back to the school, so it didn't work out. And their studio became a Flatiron studio, which is #1 right now.
Maybe not for long.
Oh yeah, but yeah. So went back to my finished study, went back to work in pharmacy. Then 2013 started to do some business. So I says, let's get this opportunity, become a franchisee as my wife. She was working with the corporate like 7, 8 years or more than 6, 7 years. So we went for the territory, Brooklyn Heights. We booked that and we had a little bit struggle first year to finding the place. And then we opened in 2014 finally, after all struggle.
Okay, so once you found your location, you opened, and your inspiration was kind of your wife, right? You saw the business, you saw what they were doing, and you thought, gosh, this might be a real business.
Oh yeah.
So what ultimately made you decide to become a Uni K Wax Studio franchisee?
See, I heard from my wife, right? And then my friend's wife also. She was working. So we decided let's invest money in the Uni K.
Okay.
We were both friends, so we invested the money and we started the Uni K, Brooklyn Heights. And we were happy after like a year and so.
Okay, well, and it's good when you go in with friends and people you trust as well. That's important.
That's how we became like so quickly multiple locations because we do the partnerships and then we start the other locations.
Okay. Now, how long did it take you to break even on your first studio?
Uh, I don't remember right now exactly, but at least 1.5 years, I would say.
So about a year and a half. But that was early in the time of Uni K. There wasn't a lot of Uni K.
There was like fourth or fifth one in the city.
Okay. So why did you decide to open a second location?
Well, so yeah, as I mentioned, we were happy with the first one, like they were doing good. So, and there was an opportunity in the city for Midtown East. So we decided, let's do the second one. As I saw some financer, the project, already we had one. So I saw the people that this is how it works. So they were
Okay.
into invest. So we went for the second one there.
So it was just very entrepreneurial. You had a good result with the first, and you said, why not?
Yeah, so I made a little plan and show it to the finance. I know the people I worked with before, so they were interested to invest some money. So I showed them this plan. They were interested, so we just that worked out very quickly. So no hassle for money. They had money, so we just took it over
So
next year.
you put together a business plan.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So how did Uni K help you in getting this second location up to speed?
Oh yeah, there was like uh, the Uni K team, they work with the seller and with us, because the second one was existing. They opened it like a year back, not even 1 year, I guess. So we didn't know how it works, and they made the process smooth, easy.
So they smoothed the transition. You already knew how a franchise works, so they just made everything happen. Okay. All right. How long until you felt that you had both locations under control?
From day one.
From day one. Wow. That's pretty good.
You got support from your wife, so of course.
When
The
you got family support, that makes a big difference.
Yeah, we actually they were handling the first locations, both our wives, so we were free, kind of.
Okay.
As a second location, we know how the system and how the Unique exactly works, so it shouldn't took us more to control or take over the location.
So I know how much work a franchise takes. How long until your second location broke even?
I believe from the starting first month, because it's already existing locations, it's been there about a year. So yeah,
So you bought an existing location and you took it over and improved it.
yes, because we exactly know any business doesn't. Because I don't know why they sold it, because it takes at least 1.5 years to break even. So once they made a customer and they sold it to us, so we said, okay, we got everything perfect ready.
So it was kind of a turnkey operation that you purchased on that second studio.
Right.
Oh, okay. So you're running two studios, but that wasn't enough, it seems. What motivated you to open a third studio?
Same thing. Someone wants to sell, and within a year, so we grab the opportunity. I says we know the how exactly business work and how long it takes to break even. So we took it because that was also 1 year old location, and it was for sale. So we just grabbed that opportunity and we took it over.
Okay, so again, you saw an existing business that you took over, turnkey operation, made the investment, turned it around, and were there any differences in opening a third than with the second? Was it any different?
No, I don't think so. There was any difference.
No, it was just pretty much just another studio, so the dynamic was basically the same.
Oh yeah, everything basically same. It's just pretty much another studio. So just initially the transition phase is probably that makes you little work, but after that, it's all smooth, like as it is.
Okay. Um, now, let's see. What about, I wanted to ask you, hold on just a minute. So talk to me a little bit about funding. How did you fund your studios?
Uh, as I explained, the first one we spend all the money from our pocket, the Brooklyn Heights, right? Then
Okay.
I show the model to the financer who are interested to invest in some franchise or something like that. So I made them a partner. I use their money.
Oh, okay.
I
It's
mean,
nice
see,
when you use other people's money, right?
I mean, they wanted to invest, right? So
No,
just
I know. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
so it was a win-win situation for everyone.
Awesome. Awesome. That's wonderful. Did uh, did you find that there are any synergies in operating three locations?
Yeah, of course. Well, you when you're using like or when you're managing more than one or two organizations like multiple studios, makes things easy, right? Uh, when you have a staff problem, you can always rotate the staff. Coverage problem, you can order the inventory, you can save little money there. So yeah, there are so many advantages for that.
So it's more troubleshooting becomes easier.
Oh, troubleshooting and also you can, I says financially as well, you can save some money, right?
Oh, okay. All
From
right.
payroll, from like inventory, you can order together for everything. So that saves money in the what do you call delivery charges and all that stuff. So yeah,
Well, and when you're not like up to here money wise, it keeps your sanity a little more.
yeah, of course.
That makes sense. Um, what? Tell me a little bit more. What's your typical day like, Ronak?
I never amazed this. I mean, I never think about this because it's very easy right now. I mean, drop kids at school about 9 o'clock, go home, get ready, come to studio, go to gym, work out about a couple of hours, go back 4 5 o'clock at home, pick up kids, take them to the park, dinner as usual. Yeah, very easy life.
Okay. All right. So it sounds like, and you and I've talked about this. One of the reasons that you did Uni K was to have a better quality of life.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I used to work about 10 hours a day, right? Shift work. So I used to like to do job in pharmaceutical company. But yeah, typical day was like 12 hours a day with the commute.
Okay.
Hardly spend some time with the kids in weekdays. Not that time. Yeah.
Well, I know family is very important for you. And
For this, and this is the only reason that I choose the Uni K because there is no my main active role on the floor, but only the managing piece, and which is they're pretty good. I would say software system, everything that which you can manage from anywhere.
well, and I'm going to ask you about that in a little bit. And by the way, for the people who are watching, I'm getting your questions and I will get to them in a little bit. Just give me a little bit. I want to make sure that I ask all of the questions, but I promise I will ask Ronak since we got him here. He's a busy guy, so I want to ask him lots of questions since I have him right in front of me. Um, so, so Ronak, how you're talking about systems and about software and all of that. How do you use Uni systems, technology, and best practices to run your business?
I mean, the Booker, I believe, is one of the, I guess, I've never seen, but it's one of the best software, right? That you can, I mean, manage it from your phone, mobile, and everywhere, right? Other things, that social media marketing, we can just put the application or just fill out the form and then it's just start rolling. So yeah, helps a lot.
So you find it's very automated.
Very automated, very easy, and very like manageable, like from anywhere. So very convenient.
Okay. And you get support on it too.
Yeah, of course, they have almost support available whenever you need.
Okay. So, Ronak, tell us a little bit about your team today because you're here having a good life, enjoying the fruit of your investment and your labor. But behind you, I'm sure that there's a team. How many employees do you have?
Typically five. I usually studio on an average, not exactly, but yeah, 5 to 6 waxers for 3 receptionists and 2 lab guys. So about 10 employees, I would say, each location.
Okay. And are you open 6 days a week, 7 days a week?
All three studios are open 7 days a week, typically about 12 to 13 hours a day.
Okay. So, Ronak, if you could talk to the Ronak from when you started in Uni K, what would you tell him?
This is the only right thing you did in your life.
Oh, good. And hey, nobody's paying you to do this, right? No, I haven't sent you any money. That'll come later, right?
That's that's the decision, right? The main,
So you
I
would,
I borrow the money when I opened the first one. I know that there was always risk 1% when you do any business, right? Because there is no 100% guarantee in any business.
okay.
Yeah, that was paid off, I guess.
So the advice would be to do it, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I said. This is the best thing I ever done, or best decision I ever made in my life, I guess.
Boy, we're sure glad you made that decision, Ronak. That's awesome.
I'm glad
Now,
to.
if what's the single most important piece of advice you'd give to someone looking to open multiple studios?
I would say, yeah, if you open like more than one, that makes the work easy. I mean, it's the same effort, right? If you handle one or if you handle a couple of, or I mean, more than one, like 2 or 3, it's the same effort. Your work's gonna be same. Your day's gonna be same like that.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a really good perspective, especially coming from you. And I had a question from someone who is watching. They asked, so they want to know about the investment. So the first one, as I understand, you came with money that you had saved out of your pocket, your own savings, and
Because we had to borrow from
you
outside,
borrowed for the first one.
yeah, from like friends or on the interest. Yeah.
So friends and family and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yes. Because we never thought about it is gonna go that way, but that was our first time even in the business and even working in the city. So we don't know how the business works in city, typically permit construction. So we learn from that. But the now we construct this one, third one now, that is pretty easy now because we know how the system and things work. So and it saves a lot of money. Before was like a little more money in the extra rent, everything, it took more to build up everything.
Okay. And with the second, you had other people who were part of it.
Yeah.
So with the second, you brought in partners, and that's basically how you funded the second and the other one.
So basically, yeah, I mean, we became a partner. So they invest that. So I operate and manage, and they're just like a sleeping partner.
So they believed in you and said, "Yes, I believe that Ronak can do it. I'll help fund the other operation."
One setup. So they know how that works. So they know actually what was I was doing. So
So do you have any advice for people when they're bringing on partners? Any best practices for when you have a partnership to help open new
just get
studios?
the sleeping partner. Don't get the working partner.
Can you repeat that? I couldn't hear that. I'm sorry.
I would suggest to get the sleeping partner, not the working partner.
Oh, get a silent partner.
A sleeping, we call it sleeping. Yeah, silent partner. That's what you can call it.
who will let you run it instead of telling you what to do every day.
Was, uh, two minds can never work same way.
Okay. Um, let's see, any from the people who are attending, does anyone have any other questions? All right, well, they've sent the questions so far. Is there any other point that you feel that people should really consider when they're operating multiple franchises?
What do you mean about the expense wise or no? Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. Do you have any additional advice that you would give to people contemplating multiple franchises? Like,
Yeah, I mean I would say the area where they're opening. So just do a little bit research plus the fixed amount expenses like a rent and
so really research the area and do your business plan, including know your numbers and all of that.
so yeah. Because the second location I talk about, right, Midtown is, so we actually rebuild it. We moved to somewhere else. I mean, across the street. Because before the rent was way high, so we were making money, but we are spending most of that money, like 50% of the money to the rent.
Wow.
And there was a huge, so we didn't need that much space, right? So we decided went to the half space, half rent, just across the street, and the construction cost was like 300,000. So we says we can save that money in 1 year. So we used the good guy clause. We vacated that location and we made the new locations across the street even much better. So this new location is doing much better now.
That is a really good point, and that also plays into what we've been doing at Uni K. With the redesign of our studios, we actually made them smaller so that you could pay less lease while still doing a high amount of business.
Less rent. Yep.
That's a really good point. Well,
Doing the
Ronak,
business was good, everything was good, but most expense went to the rent. So
especially in New York City.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, if there are no other questions, I'm going to say thank you to Ronak for taking the time to share your experience with us. And if someone would like to at some point meet Ronak and talk to him a little bit more in considering their studio, talk to me. Ronak has been very generous with his time. I thank you for that, Ronak. And I look forward to seeing the opening of your fourth studio. Can you tell us about your fourth?
Yes, it's under the pipeline. So I mean, we're about to start the construction about the fourth one, and which is going to be in the Williamsburg.
Excellent. Well, best of luck to you, Ronak. We're here to help you and really appreciate your taking the time to speak with us.
Thank you, Luis. Thank you for having me. Same here.
Have a great weekend, everyone, and thanks again.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.